All right, welcome to Green Line Radio, and I have the promoter and the flagman of the Demolition Derby, which will be this Sunday. It's Curt Seymour. Welcome to Green Line Radio, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Well, we want to talk about the Demolition Derby. Go ahead, let us know about that.
Well, Sunday we're going to be starting our annual Demolition Derby here at Clinton County Fair. We've done this for nearly 70 years with the Clinton County Fair, but Demolition Derby has only been about 50 years. When cars first were being built, and then people decided they wanted to wreck them. So I've got a long history with Clinton County Fair. Myself, my father, my grandfather, my uncles. The Seymours have a big name here in Demolition Derby. So myself, it's my second year being a promoter with Clinton County Fair. And I run the show. We try to make it a fan and family-friendly environment. We usually get well over 100 cars, 150 to 200 the last 3 years, which is really good. Sunday morning, we start inspections at 7 a.m. Cars come through, we inspect them for safety and rules. We have a set of rules that the drivers must abide by. And if they don't abide by them, we put them in what we call the penalty box. So it's actually a little area on the side that they have to fix or repair their cars before they're allowed to actually compete.
Wow, so like a pit crew, huh?
Pretty much. I've got a good team. On my team, I've got Jeff Warren, John Martineau, Joe Warren, Clint Adams, Curt Jr., my son, and my brother-in-law, Jason Duell. I also have my wife. She's also a coordinator. She's been helping me out quite a bit. She's a keeper. She's a good wife. She doesn't mind doing these kind of events. So once we get done with the inspection, what we do is we allow the cars to get all lined up. We do at 1 o'clock. We start the event. We do a kids power wheels. We're going to do a lawn tractor. We're going to do a figure eight. We're going to do best appearing. So basically, people will paint their cars up really nice and neat, and next thing you know, we'll present them to the crowd, and we get about 20 kids come down, and they pick the best one. So it's a breakdown amongst the cars. If there's a car that has a kid, they stay. If you don't, you leave. And then we ask them to pick again. And by the end of the day, there's a winner. There's a first and second place. There's a cash prize and trophies, which is really nice. So once we get things rolling, we start the Demolition Derby. We have 4 6-cylinder and V8s minivans. We'll run those all the way until the afternoon show is completed, and then we'll start the 7 o'clock show.
All right. So I hear about these extreme trucks. What's going on with that?
Extreme trucks are basically a pickup truck, econo van, or a Suburban. And now we're allowed up to 2,500 series. So basically, you're going to have these big screaming with headers sticking out of them, jacked up, 4-wheel drives, 2-wheel drives. We don't allow them to run 4-wheel drive unless they get hung up. So they must maintain 2-wheel drive unless they get hung up. Then we allow them to engage it, but then we tell them to remove it. Otherwise, we will black fog them and shut them down. We don't want to do that, so they need to abide by the rules. And it's $1,000 for one heat extreme trucks, which is really unique for us because the past years they haven't had prize money. It was basically whatever the drivers want to put in and winner take all. So now it's $1,000, winner take all. We have feature size trophies, and that's going to go for first, second, and heavy hitter. Also, we have a roof sign by Green Line Plasma that are going to be donated for Extreme Champion from Clinton County. And I got to thank Green Line Plasma for that as well. They've also got the 4-cylinder. They've got a 6-cylinder, and we're looking to see how the car counts are before we're going to introduce maybe a 6-cylinder feature. But we also have the Power Wheels I mentioned earlier, the Power Wheels for the kids. They were also able to sponsor up a Power Wheels roof plaque, and they're going to be a champion of the day. What we're going to do is we're going to have 50 kids. 50 kids are going to be there Demolition Derbying with their little Power Wheels, and everyone's going to get an 11-inch trophy. The 11-inch trophy will be presented to each one of them. Now, at the end, we're going to put all their names into a hat. We're going to draw one out. That child will be the Power Wheels champion of 2018. And I'm really excited. And I want to thank again Green Line Plasma for sponsoring up the roof signs.
I think that would be hilarious, just watching kids go at it with the Power Wheels, though. I'd love to see that. Oh, man. I mean, I'm sure there's not much damage going on. You know, they're safe. Do they wear helmets or anything while they do that?
Yes, they wear helmets. They must have a vehicle, a Power Wheel that allows their feet to be inside. We don't allow any metal other than the roof signs, because we see that a lot of kids are getting them nowadays with their names and numbers on them. They can have any number, paint it any way they want, put stickers on it, and it's absolutely amazing to watch these kids. This is the next generation. Power Wheels are absolutely the start of them getting going. And I spoke with a little kid yesterday, and he's running around wearing his own derby shirt, and he's got his sign, which I seen on Facebook and from Green Line. And I'm telling you, the smile on his face, and all he would do is talk about derby for the 15 minutes I was talking with him. And his dad just stood there and goes, "Well, next thing we're going to get him into go-kart races." And no. I said youth derbies. And once they get about 10 to 15 years old, they actually have some youth derbies in other locations, just not Clinton County Fair.
What kind of vehicles? They actually drive real vehicles?
Real vehicles. Essex County is going to be having a youth derby, which is going to be very interesting. And I'll be officiating down there as well. But right now we have so much going on a Sunday event. This is going to be the biggest show. The biggest show, meaning we've crammed everything into one day event with two shows. You have a show at 1 o'clock, you have one at 7 o'clock. The 7 o'clock show, we're going to start with the extreme trucks. We're going to bring them out, do the national anthem. Then we're going to continue on with heats, consolations, and features. It's going to be a full day. I know we've got some nasty weather saying it's coming through, but we'll see how it happens, you know.
I was just going to say, looks like cells upon cells, as one guy said, that you know, it's going to downpour. It's going to be a drench. What happens then?
Well, we've had actually a flooding situation about 6-7 years ago here at Clinton County Fair, and come 1 o'clock, the sun poked out, and it was beautiful. So we're all going to keep our fingers crossed, and hopefully that it's just light showers. Tom Messner's not always correct, so I'm betting against him for Sunday.
Awesome. All right, so tell me a little bit about if they don't qualify in the heat.
So all the drivers compete. They must compete in a heat. If you do not qualify, first, second, or heavy hitter, now first place gets a higher prize money and a bigger trophy. Second place gets a trophy and prize money. Third place, which we call it, but it's called a heavy hitter. Heavy hitter is the guy that goes out there and wants to put on a show and gives the biggest hits to people. So we call them the heavy hitters. All three of those advance to the feature. If you do not qualify for a heat, then you must go to the consi. But it must be a pre-ran car, meaning it must have gone through a heat first. You run a pre-ran car in the heat. It's called the consolation. They put $20 in. We split it 50-50 for first and second consi winners. They also get trophies, first, second, and heavy hitter, which is great. Thanks to Plattsburgh Distributing, Budweiser, they're the ones that promote the trophies for us, and every year they're absolutely beautiful. So we definitely come prepared, and hopefully it's going to be a good show.
And Curt, you want to go ahead and mention some of your sponsors there?
Absolutely, thank you. I'd like to thank Green Line Plasma, Green Line Radio, Plattsburgh Distributing, Budweiser, Riley Ford, North Country Auto Glass, Be Cool Air Conditioning, C&L Taxi, and Adams Construction.
All right. Well, thank you, Curt Seymour, for joining us here on Green Line Radio. Hope to hear more from you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.